Hey, Boner.
Hey, Polly!
I got a question for you.
Is it about an RPG?
Maybe it's something I've wanted to ask you for a long time.
7 inches.
Whoa! Well, I was actually just going to ask if you would maybe want to play Phantasy Star IV with me?
What's that? Is that Earthbound?
No, Earthbound is poopy. Phantasy Star is not poopy. Well,
I don't know. I mean, I've played Phantasy Star Online, Blue Burst, Phantasy Star Portable 2, Phantasy Star Online 2.
There's other games besides those online ones, though, Boner. There are other games that exist prior to Phantasy Star Online.
But was it like on the Game Boy Advance, like a tie-in?
No, dog. We go way back further than that. We go to like, do you know what the
PlayStation 1?
Whoa. I can see we've got some work to do here. Do you know what the Sega Master System is?
That's the thing where you can play rock, paper, scissors with a hobbit, in Alex Kidd in Miracle Whip.
You're getting a lot closer, but I tell you what, showing is better than telling, so why don't I take a brief moment to tell you a little bit about a game called Phantasy Star.
Show me that fantasy of mine.
I'm going to make your fantasy come true.
Does it involve Miracle Whip? Oh, hey, lady.
Check that out. You got a pretty lady there, and
That's straight up upskirt shot.
it's close. It comes really close, but I think it's just low enough.
I mean, I assume those are tights and not like a banana pudding skin tone that she's
No,
got on her thighs.
those are definitely tights, because if you look at the skin tone on her face and arms, it's definitely different. So definitely confirmed, main character of Phantasy Star does not have banana legs. So this is the original Phantasy Star released for the Sega Master System. Get this, like 2 days after Final Fantasy on the Famicom.
And actually, it came out before Final Fantasy in the U.S.
Yes. This is like 2 years before the game saw 2 years before Final Fantasy 1 saw release in the States, and I think this game's actually pretty impressive for its time. But again, showing is better than telling. So why don't we jump in here for a few brief moments and we'll see just how maybe impressive this game can be. What do you say?
I'm already seeing something pretty impressive.
Check this out. Isn't this neat? I mean, already I think that when you look at this, looks a little similar to, Dragon Quest, I guess.
Or that Ultimisia game.
Yeah, it's got stuff like that, and like this is just it has a very almost kind of bare bones look to it, but it definitely has a look that's a lot brighter and a lot cleaner than say than the original Final Fantasy did. Like this is it just pops a lot more. It's got like a lot of cool style to it. I mean, look at these cool backgrounds and all of that fun stuff.
And the Master System really, like, even though it was, like, I guess, arguably in some ways weaker hardware in some of the things it could do than the NES, as far as, like, the sprites it could render, they almost looked like on par with a TurboGrafx, or even, like, if you really want to split hairs, like some of the 16-bit arcade or early Genesis games that you had.
Absolutely. And it just follows the same kind of pattern as any normal JRPG. You walk around and you get into fights, and isn't that really cool looking? Let me look at it. And what's really impressive is just like how much animation the enemy sprites have. I mean, they've got a lot of character, a lot of color, and this is just a really simple battle system where you attack, you can use magic, you can use wonderful spells like bye.
You can talk to stuff too, and not always. Negotiation doesn't always work.
I only know of like 2 enemy types that talking works on.
Yeah, if you do it to the totally not Jawas from Star Wars. They say, "I like to eat garbage," and run away.
Yeah, they literally do say, "I like to eat garbage." But yeah, I mean, this game's got a lot of character, a lot of good-looking... I mean, look, even the background is just amazingly just rendered for this little 8-bit system that... It struggled to deal with a lot of action-y type games, except, like, when they knew what they were doing. Like,
usually the first-party games were the ones that were...
really impressive.
Took advantage of the hardware, and others were just, like, half-assed arcade ports.
Yeah, and they were... Or like, trying to bring a Genesis game down to the 8-bit level was just... Those were always terrible. Fucking Afterburner. Oh my god.
Oh, and the Master System did go on, like, in South America for, like, up until, like, even, like, 1998, and there's probably still homebrew games being made.
I absolutely think that there are. I still remember seeing the Master System in the news. But the other big feature of this game... First-person dungeoneering.
Is this like Fester's Quest? Does the door eat the key?
But this is really, like, I think what really makes this game shine is just, like, how smooth and impressive this really is. This is supposed to be kind of a sci-fi game, and I don't think the visuals really present that a lot.
Yeah, except when you, like, walk into a town that's like, there's a stormtrooper, and you get a weapon called a lightsaber, and then you're running around in dungeons, and you're fighting dungeon dragons and zombies and
zombies
things from Greek myth.
and zombies that do really funny dances for you.
It's Thriller Night.
I want to say that that's probably a goddamn reference that they were making, because why else would he do the little shoulder shake before he attacks?
Well,
look at that.
And then in Shin Megami Tensei 2 on the Super Famicom, which was also a game with 3D dungeons, you literally go into an area where there's a guy named Mr. Thriller who looks like Michael Jackson, and everybody's dancing. See,
this LP isn't even 10 minutes off the ground, and we're learning so much already. So yeah, this is basically Phantasy Star 1. I think that it's an interesting game. I still think that, like, I mean, I'm as far as I am right now because I've played these games up to a certain point, so we would have something to talk about.
Just getting started, it's pretty obtuse. I mean, parts of it have not aged well. The encounter rate, for one.
Yeah, getting started in this game, oh boy, that's a task. You basically have to grind money and levels for about 2 hours in order to actually go through the first dungeon. Like, you have to grind to get your equipment, to get your passport, to get your road pass. To get your road pass is even more obtuse because you have to go into a shop and select secrets to buy it, and the lady will kick you out, and you have to go back in, try to buy it again, she'll kick you out, and then you go back in, and you have to buy it, and she'll finally give it to you. And it's like, what?
And to get your third-party member, you basically have to trade pot for...
Yes, you trade pot for your third-party member, which is a cute little kitty cat named Meow. Isn't that adorable?
Yes, that's right!
But to sort of, like, put a little final cap on this, I've got one more little save file to prove just how space this game is. You know, we'll go ahead and... This is a little bit earlier in the game, and you do, and what I'm about to do, you definitely do a lot earlier in the game.
It's very spacey because, for some reason, on the overworld, your main character turns into Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah. I should also mention that there was a PlayStation 2 remake of this game called Sega Ages Phantasy Star Generation 1, and I think that it kind of loses a bit of the character that this game has, but ultimately it plays a lot better, for obvious reasons. But I didn't quite like it as much as I like this for some reason. Like, it just feels really sterile, even though it's got, like, better graphics and stuff. But hey, check it out. This is a space game. Let's do some space stuff. And this is a really cool little moment for the game when you first get to do this, though. You get to ride in a cool spaceship.
Pretty badass music at this part, too.
Yes, I do love the tune here. It's really good. But yeah, like, I think this game is an interesting little curiosity. I think it's like, if you definitely got, like, it's on basically everything now. You can even get it on Steam, I believe, with one of the, you can buy it separately for, like, I think a couple bucks from one of those, collections that they have on there.
Oh yeah, is that part of the Genesis collection? There was actually a Genesis, I think it was just like a straight dump, and probably wasn't available in all territories.
We're talking about SEGA, so it was definitely a straight dump. Oh!
Get a dump fast!
But yeah, I mean, this game's pretty cool. If you can get past, like, the first couple of hours, the dungeoning is pretty fun. Like, I remember when I was playing through this game, you know, you've got to grid out the maps because there is no map system in this game.
It's so easy to get lost.
And it is so easy, and there's no way to easily exit a dungeon because the, like, escape pipes and telepipes work totally different than how they do in later games. They don't let you exit a dungeon, so if you get stuck, you got to get your way back out. So making your own maps is definitely crucial. So if you like Etrian Odyssey, maybe you should play this, because I don't like Etrian Odyssey.
Likes that.
So that's Phantasy Star 1. Is there anything else you think that we could, I don't know, enlighten our viewers to with regards to Phantasy Star 1?
No. I got nothing.
It's a simple, fun little game. Definitely worth checking out. Not only for curiosity, but it's still pretty alright, in my opinion. So, with that said, we're going to move on to probably, I don't know, it's hard to say whether 2 or 4 are the most renowned. But this is Phantasy Star 2. A lot of people talk about this game for a lot of reasons. There's one very specific reason a lot of people bring this game up that's story-related. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, you can, there's a really, effeminate, flamboyant guy who sells you a 80s keyboard.
That's true. There really is, and he's I guess in the Japanese version he is blatantly homosexual, but they toned it down for this version. But if you go to him and talk to him with a guy in the lead slot, if you talk to a lead guy at the front of your party, with a dude, he'll only charge you 1,000 Meseta to teach you the technique you need to learn. But if you talk to him as a woman, he charges you 5,000. So we're going
That's
to.
sexist.
It definitely is. We're going to have another look here. This game is for the Genesis, so it's obviously got quite a graphical upgrade.
Yeah, for one, it's anime out the wazoo.
Oh god, yeah, like the character portraits and everything. It's just like, yo dog, you like anime? We gots it.
I heard a rumor that Rhett could not complete this game because he couldn't decide who his waifu was.
That's not... Yeah, and he's got a lot to choose from. I'm glad you brought up that point, because this game, along with just looking,
may I
sounding...
just, can we show the gun shop lady?
Sure.
She's my favorite.
Oh, she's your bae?
Yeah.
The gun shop lady, your bae? Where's she at?
Yeah, top right.
Alright, we'll go talk to gun shop lady. There we go. I figured she was your bae. There you go.
It's like freaking Lita Ford with a, cherry fire red dye job, and for some reason little face paint, like war paint.
Yeah, she's got war paint. Just sort of, I guess that's sort of like maybe where they evolved beasts from as like they went further into the series.
Oh, well now she's terrible. I don't want to look at this again.
Oh, I get later, Ace.
Yeah, I like it that she calls you Ace.
Yeah. You look at yourself in the mirror and you just give yourself the guns. You go, Ace. Yeah. But it's a good thing you mentioned he couldn't decide which waifu, because this game has a lot of characters that you can outfit your party with, who you don't get them by just running into them like you would in a normal RPG. You have to come back to your home and they'll just randomly be there.
Yeah, that's a really weird way to script story progression, I guess. Well, I guess you don't have to get all the characters to finish the story.
No, you don't. You only need 4 characters at any point to actually finish the story. But we'll go in here and I'll go ahead and show you all of the characters. This is where you do all of your party management. You gotta go back home. But it's not that bad, even though, like, this game has a ridiculously large world map, because you can basically warp anywhere at any time, because all of the towns have a warp point, which is really good. Because when you start seeing the maps in this game, you're gonna want more reasons to warp everywhere. So, like, look at this. We've got 8 characters total to pick from, and I really like this, is that they gave everybody a cool biography.
Yeah, I think this is the only game in the series up to this point that did anything like that.
Yeah,
up to the point before it went 3D, let's say.
Yeah, and I think that it's just a lot of cool little, like, extra style and stuff that they kind of added to the game. It clearly shows they were trying to make these characters more important. They were trying to get a little more focus on the narrative, where I feel like the first game and games like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy were focused a lot more on trying to get the mechanics down.
Yeah, those mechanics are definitely not where Phantasy Star II shines.
No, because we're about to see that here momentarily. But this game leaves a really good first impression. You know, it immediately plays a lot better. It looks and sounds fantastic. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, start to finish. Like, there's not a bad tune on it. You might get tired of hearing a few of the tunes, because you're going to be in a lot of areas for a long time. Because of the way the nature of this game works. So obviously we've got, you know, our normal running around and adventuring, but you know what else you've got to do in an RPG?
Talk to birds.
No, you've got to go into dungeons, and unfortunately, this is where Phantasy Star II kind of blows. Because I get what they were doing with the fighting. I get what they were trying to do with that, and I think that it's not a bad system, but then you compare it to, you know, like other games where it's like, it's much simpler. But we'll be getting in a fight momentarily, but, you know, we'll discuss the dungeons here. This is all of the dungeons in Phantasy Star 2, by the way. This is what they all look like. They all have this gaudy foreground thing. This was, like, I want to say the 6th game release for the Genesis, so they were really trying to push that, hey, we're doing cool stuff. Now here we've got an example of the combat system, which is kind of minimalistic in a way. I feel that this was done to sort of accommodate the really great sprite work that they've done on the enemies, because there's a lot of really good enemy design and sprite work. And there's just a lot of animation for a game released at this point in time. But that also came at the expense of a background, because this is basically the same background from Shadowrun, I want to say, when you're doing the hacking. I want to say this is the same damn background, but
I actually have seen sprite mashups of, like, the Shadowrun hacking parts in various Phantasy Star games, where they kind of, like, turned those bosses into a Shadowrun hacking encounter.
It's not like, it fits so well. But this is Phantasy Star 2's battle system. It is an auto battle system for the most part. You can issue commands, as you can see with the COMD that I'm highlighting, and I can select, you know, a character and make them do a thing. So
it's really kind of awkward to do, though, just because, like, the buttons don't, like, work the way you think they would. Like, there's a separate one for, like, canceling out of a menu versus, like, stopping the auto battle progression. And to stop the auto battle progression, that's the same button as you would use to select a menu item. So it probably doesn't make sense me describing it, but once you've gotten in enough battles and enough grind fest, you really just, like, start to hate how convoluted it is.
And then you just press the button and battle commences. And the thing about issuing commands as well is that as soon as you issue one command for one character, you're booted back out to the main menu. So you've got to do it again and again and again.
I'm getting mad just thinking about, like, the last time I tried to play this and how much, like, crap
I'm currently
I had with this battle system.
I'm playing this game for Really Reels. Like, this is my Really Reels file that I'm playing on. I'm using a hack that it's called the Phantasy Star II Modernization Project. And basically what it does is it doubles the experience and money gained from battles. It balances out the characters a bit more so that some characters aren't completely useless. And it also, like, moves up your skill progression so that you earn your techs like at earlier levels. So it's been a lot easier
It looks like it speeds the walking up too a bit.
I think I'd have to compare it.
I'm pretty sure the vanilla walking is much freaking slower.
Oh, you want to talk slow walking? We'll see that in a few minutes. But
there was another game before Phantasy Star IV, because I don't
okay,
recall ever such a thing existing.
Let's look at our number system, Boner. You go 1, 2,
4.
No, dude. No. Let's try again. 1, 2,
4.
Huh. You're making this real hard for. Okay. 1, 2.
I'm stumped.
You
completely.
really don't know what number comes after 2, but you do know 4.
Well, I just know that there wasn't another Phantasy Star game after 2, because let's face it, the games that anybody refers to in PSO or any of those others are 1, 2, and 4.
Right.
So why would anybody make a game that doesn't exist? I mean, it's like Street Fighter 1, right?
Right. Boy, I'm about to blow your mind. Are you ready to have your mind blown, like, right now?
Let's do it.
All right. Also, I really like Sega's treatment of their logo. They always do fun things with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They kind of started using the same one over and over past like 1993.
Yeah.
Just that weird shiny effect. But
do you see what's happening here?
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No, look at that. It says Phantasy Star I.
I don't speak Greek.
You don't. So, this is Phantasy Star III. A game full of ambition and not a lot of execution.
To live up to it.
And not a lot of execution. It's got good ideas. I admire the balls that this game has and what it's trying to do. It tries to use a generational system, so it's just like, this is like a first generation character, Rise. And when you get to a certain part of the story...
I always pronounced it Reese.
Rise, whatever. But you get to a certain part of the story, and you get to choose a waifu to marry. And that alters what your next generation character... the next generation's main character is going to be, and you do that 3 or 4 times until you get to the end of the game. And that's really an interesting system. Like, I admire what they were trying to go for there. It's just...
It slightly modifies certain story beats. Not that this game's heavy on story anyway, but also it affects the stats that your final character ends up with, because, like, you know, whether he's going to be more melee based or he's going to have like higher magic power. It's not a huge leap, but you know it affects like a couple of the bosses and dungeons you go through and the little endings that you get.
Yeah, the endings are not that great either. They're like literally one screen, a couple of boxes of text, and some credits, and you feel kind of ripped off at the end.
But one thing that that bears mentioning in this game and its towns are not only that every house looks the same and is set on the same boring grid, but also you go into some of them and there's fuck all in there.
Yeah, and just like, this game has a lot more of a... like, Phantasy Star 1 and 2 both kind of dabble in both fantasy and sci-fi, but this game feels way more leaned toward fantasy, even though you've got, you know, a couple of cyborg characters that are, you know, just kind of it feels almost like this game doesn't feel like it was designed as a Phantasy Star game to me.
It's, well, as far as I remember, like, none of the original team worked on it. And it's kind of a more ambitious plot. I mean, kind of a ripoff of, if I'm remembering the name of the show right, The Star Lost, written by Harlan Ellison, where there's a generational colony ship, but society within the ship has regressed so far that they don't even know they're in a spaceship anymore. Like, I think in that show, they're basically like stuck in Amish technology at that point.
Yeah.
Before like something on the ship breaks down and they discover, oh, we're really in a spaceship. They were kind of going for the same thing with this, but just the way it's presented is just so ham slap, you know, like lunch meat on your face.
And,
like they go outside the ship and it's like, oh, this is what our world looks like now. Whoop-a-doo, and then they never mention it again, essentially.
Yeah, it's
and there's
just,
already cyborgs walking around. It's stupid.
Everything is just so lifeless. But the game does have interesting mechanics, as we did say. It's got a lot of ambition. It has an interesting magic system, for one. Because this is a place where you can sort of, like, mess with your character's tech distribution, and each character has a certain type of magic. And then you pop up this grid that determines each magic's effectiveness. You see on the left, that's the 4 spells that this guy has, and as I move this cursor around, you see that the symbols are moving around as well. So if I say do that,
so you match 3 and then they disappear, and then you get...
It's an early version of Bejeweled, essentially. Not really. But as you can see now, like, I'm looking at his text, like, his Zan skill is now, like, it's got a 13 efficiency, which means it's a lot better than Gra, or Foy, or Sue. You're going to be hearing a lot of us saying weird names throughout this Let's Play, so just get used to it.
And those are just the 1-syllable ones.
Those are the easy ones. We haven't even gotten to, like, you know, like the crazy stuff that we're going to be seeing in the actual Let's Play. But let's go outside and have a look at the combat. What do you say?
All right.
This
Let's hear
awesome...
some of that great music.
Oh, God, yeah, it's so good. And I'm going to wander around the desert aimlessly because I feel that that's a pretty good analog for this game.
Oh, snap.
Oh, look! Look at these guys. So we've got another automated battle system. They really liked this idea. The bottom left one that I'm currently on just goes for 1 turn. The upper left goes for the entire fight or until you stop it. And then you can also issue commands to characters, but again, it is as annoying and, like, just not very good as Phantasy Star II's version was. And yeah, it's just... So I'll just press the auto battle button and shit just happens.
Like in the Super Famicom Shin Megami Tensei games, basically you had like an auto battle and then it's like that was it. You just set it and forget it. It just depends on whether like your characters are set to use melee weapons or guns.
Yeah.
And then, or you can just assign commands and that's it. There's not like that much thought that has to go into it. But here it's just like, well, okay, I gotta look at like the key wind up music box thing and the little dude doing the ska dance.
What I do think is interesting, though, it does have a cool little presentation, is where like the battle music is dynamic, in that like depending on the battle situation and like how the enemy's doing or how your characters are doing, the battle music changes.
Yeah, that's something that would show up again in not only another SEGA property, Skies of Arcadia, at least in the boss battles, the music changes depending on how well you're doing. But also just in like the Phantasy Star Online games, like if you're walking around in the forest, like it's quiet, there's like this little tranquil theme, but then like everything's whenever you get into an encounter.
Or you know, or you can like go into towns, or you can go into you know, little, or like the music in this game is a little weird, but it's got a town and a shop theme that is just it's so dumb. It's just like, how does that fit your science fiction world at all? But yeah, basically everything about this game is just a huge step down from Phantasy Star 2. Just like the presentation is really boring, like the battle system just looks and feels awful. The enemy sprites just, they don't fit at all.
They're really fucking bizarre. They just look like I don't know, cutting room floor like sketch designs.
There's a sprite
that weren't good enough to put in a Final Fantasy game that somebody was just like, all right, let's rasterize those and slap them in here.
There's a sprite that looks like John Cena in this damn game. I'm not kidding.
There is. I know which one you're talking about.
I was gonna Photoshop his head onto that sprite before we did this, but I got lazy.
There's literally robot enemies in this that are just like a big, like floating cloud of microchips.
Yes. It's just like there's so little thought.
There's one that's just like a cloud of eyeballs.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's bad. It's just, and that's the really the disappointing thing is that like the first 2 games, yeah, like Phantasy Star 1 had normal kind of like fantasy fodder type enemies, but they had character to them and they looked cool and they had cool little animations. Phantasy Star 2, like you get that real cool twist in the middle where all of a sudden there's no more biomonsters in the world. You're fighting robots the rest of the game and it's a whole slew of new enemy types. And this is just like, yo, we're boring.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of try to do the same thing with some of the different routes depending on which waifu you pick. And I do like that, you know, they brought back the backgrounds and stuff. I mean, yeah, the enemies do look stupid, but it's like it's like they tried to progress with the technology. It's like they had this, at the time, 1990 or 89, whenever this was in development, to make, like, a thoroughly fleshed out 16-bit RPG before what that was even coalesced, like with Final Fantasy 2 or 4.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know, they double dribbled.
Yeah, it's just not so great. Could have done better. But you know, there's a way you can completely and utterly break this game.
You can speedrun this bitch.
You can speedrun this bitch. Do you guys, like, what do you say? Like a speedrun right in the middle of, like, the introduction to our Phantasy Star IV Let's Play?
Kill the animals.
Alright, let's go. Let's get that timer started. I'm going to cheat and speed through the intro because they forced you to watch a very slow text crawl at the beginning. But this is going to be a fun little Easter egg. You could just totally and utterly break this game in a really funny way. There we go.
We have a $75 donation from John. He'd rather see us play a SEGA game.
I'm not surprised. He probably wants to save the fucking animals too, the barbarian.
Yeah, he wants to save the little birdies that are stuck in robots.
Fuck the birds. That's what I say. So I'm gonna sell the boots for 50 meseta. Cause why not? Why? Who needs boots?
Sell
right?
the boots to your wife here.
Yeah.
They go barefoot. It was good enough for Jesus.
There you go. Good enough for Jesus. Good enough for me. And wait a minute. I think I just went in the wrong one. That's gonna cost me some frames. That's gonna cost me some frames.
We're gonna have to eat the animals now to survive.
Yeah, we're gonna have to eat the animals. Turns out I was in the right shop all along. I'm a doof. What can I say? So we're gonna buy an escapipe. An escapipe lets you escape a dungeon. That's cool, right? That's a good thing to have. It's something that the first two games don't have. Actually, I think you do have Heinous in Phantasy Star 2.
Heinous.
Heinous.
That spell's name is pretty heinous.
It is. So we're gonna go up here. We're gonna play the game like normal. We're gonna go.
For people who aren't idiots, Heinous lets you teleport outside of dungeons, and Ryuker or Ryuka, however you want to say it.
It's Ryuker. It will always be Ryuker to me.
It moves in Phantasy Star 2. It moves you to the last town you visited, I believe, or the last town you saved at.
Yeah.
It's something really like specific like that.
Oh god, this music's terrible. I'm glad you can't hear it.
I'm hearing it in my head.
They picked all of the absolute worst. It's just like, if you want to make a case for the Genesis having a bad sound chip, put in this game, and like, some of the tunes in this game are just like ear-gratingly terrible. Even the overworld map theme is just dreadful.
So the intro to this is basically Ghosts and Goblins. The devil shows up and steals your waifu. And so now you have to go in your underwear because we sold our boots to get her back.
There you go.
And he tells the prince to go cool off in the dungeon.
Go cool off in the dungeon, bitch.
Go flagellate yourself with a cat of nine tails.
I deserve this! I deserve this! Oh my god. So yeah, we're getting marched off to the prison, and the game, like, I can't press the button to skip these text boxes. Because this game really wants you to know.
Did those guys just shove him down the stairs? It's like, we're not going to escort you. It's just like,
fuck down there.
In the ass.
Do not care that you're royalty. So now that that's over.
Alright, there's a really, like, specific wall clip we have to do here.
Very specific wall clip I've got to do. You ready? Alright, here we go. Alright, got it. First try. First try. Nailed it. Alright. Woo! So, well, now we're going to go up here and we're going to beat the game.
This warps you right to Dark Falls.
Yes. You used your escapipe. Normally a smart move, but now I'm afraid the game can't be continued. Please press the reset button and try again.
Did they just break the fourth wall?
Did they just leave that in there on purpose, or did they not know how to fix it?
Snake, press the reset button. Wait, why is Snake using
That is so goddamn meta. That's so meta, and like nobody talks to you after you do it either. They're just all fucking disappointed.
Do you think the game shipped like that? Like they had to have known what they were doing, but do you think like this text was in the Japanese version? Or like somebody just like in the localization team goes, oh, I wonder what would happen if you opened it to, and then it's like, oh, I guess we gotta explain it here because we can't like modify the code in any meaningful way.
We can just throw in text boxes. But yeah, we've basically broken the game. You can't do anything beyond this point. Like, everything's completely broken now.
And that's Phantasy Star 3, everybody.
That's Phantasy Star 3. But the game we're playing, good old Phantasy Star 4.
Earthbound.
Good old Phantasy Star 4. End of the millennium.
See, look, there's Earth right there. We're bound for it.
We are.
You know, getting back to the counting thing, there's no 4 anywhere on this location.
No, there's not. Not even in the Japanese version. It's just on the US box as Phantasy Star 4.
With art by Boris Vallejo, fantasy author who drew lots of tits.
So, immediately, what you're going to notice while we're playing this game, look how fast I move! Look how fast everything happens. Look at how quick this menuing is. Look at this. This is crazy.
And if that's not fast enough for you, like the battle progression, you can speed that up. There's a setting in the game that makes the battles move faster.
Yes, you can make everything go much faster.
And the message speed.
And the message. Yeah, I usually crank the message speed up, and I leave battle speed at 3 because I like the pretty animation.
And even if you don't, you can hold the button down to make the text scroll faster.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll go ahead and enter one of those newfangled dungeons that you kids like to do, and we'll have a look. We'll have a very quick look at the battle system, but we're not going to go over the intricacies until we're actually in the actual Let's Play. But this is just sort of a small preview of just like how much better this game looks, feels, and you know, it's just a much better game overall. They got their shit together. It's an actual battle system, but you can set up macros and stuff like that, which again we'll go over in the main playthrough. But like, yeah, this is just much more amazing. I think they were dealing with like a 32 megabit cartridge this time around, so
that's a lot of megabits.
The only thing that I really like, the thing that they never quite learned with this game is that like Phantasy Star Dungeons never really have a sense of place. They always feel like just gigantic boxes.
Yeah, they really are just kind of like floating in some negative space where you've got I mean, in this one they're a lot more intricate than they are in Phantasy Star 2. And now I say they're more intricate, but that's like with purpose and meaning. In Phantasy Star 2 they're just convoluted, but you never get the sense that they're organically designed.
Yeah, in Phantasy Star 2, the main route for any of the maps will only take up about 30% of the entire map. The other 70% of any Phantasy Star 2 dungeon map is just to fuck you over.
And the slow walking speed makes it so, yeah, you're gonna be wasting a whole lot of time in those dungeons.
Yeah. But yeah, this is sort of like just this little quick preview. We're gonna talk a hell of a lot more about Phantasy Star 4 while we're playing it. It's a great game. I think that we both love the shit out of it.
I got a raging happy right now.
You got a raging happy right now. So yeah, we're probably going to start uploading episodes for the actual Let's Play, I don't know, maybe a week or so. But this is just to sort of get you guys ready, give you a bit of a preview of what we're doing. Make it
prime the old pump.
Yeah, prime the old pump, get it all ready, give you guys a bit of a history lesson while we were at it. I hope we were at least entertaining and informative, and we hope that you tune in for the actual Let's Play. Boner, want to thank you for being here with me. You're going to be playing Phantasy Star 2 as well. Or 4. You're going to be playing Phantasy Star 4.
I hope I'm not playing Phantasy Star 2.
You're going to be playing Phantasy Star 4 as well.
Sign on for this. Fuck this noise.
We're gonna record this
that was the Skype call hang up sound, by the way.
We're going to record this in batches. Like, I'm going to play for a bit, and we'll both be talking, and then he's gonna play for a bit and we'll both be talking, so it'll be kind of fun. It'll be, you know, definitely a co-op Let's Play. I'm gonna make him do all the annoying stuff. Welcome to Zio's Fort, bitch. Alright folks, we'll catch you later, and we hope you know, you enjoy the ride with us.
Stay crusty.